Lighthouse. Mine's a little crooked. Hopefully this next one will come out a little straighter, but either way, still looks awesome. So I'm gonna get it pulled up on the computer so I can see your guys' comments and questions, and also give everybody kind of a minute to tune in live. And then, of course, you guys can also watch it on the replay. So if you are painting along with me, please let me know in the comments as soon as you've tuned in, just so I can kind of get an idea of how many people we have, as that will help. Hey, Veronica. And also don't forget to thumbs up, okay? So if you are painting along, the colors I am using are blue, white, yellow, orange, and black. And I'm just using the Craft Smart paint. This one's a little beaten up. So nothing fancy. You can use any acrylic paint that you have, craft paint, whatever. Hey, Christina. Hey, Latrice. So, yeah, and then if you don't have the acrylic paints, you could also do it with oil. You could do it with watercolor. You could do it with crayon, marker, anything. And if you are watching it later on the replay, of course, you can stop and rewind as needed. So I'm going to get my colors all poured out. And then I'll go over my brushes that I'm using really quickly. Thank you, Resin Chick. And welcome, welcome. So please let me know down in the comments, guys, if you are painting along, okay? And then also, I do love it when you share your creations with me later. So feel free to do that as well on my page or wherever. All right, just get my colors poured out. So far, I think I only have one person painting along with me, and that's Veronica. Oh, good. Prophetess Fry, you're painting along too. Okay, good. I was like, it's not a big class, huh? And as I go along, of course, let me know if you need me to slow down or if you have questions. Okay. Hey, J-Ro, painting along with us. Welcome. So I'm going to use the same brushes I normally use. I pretty much use these for all the same paint nights and everything. So I have a 1-inch foam flat brush, really easy to blend with. And then I have about a 1/2 inch, I think this one's a 1/2 inch, medium flat brush, and then a little detail brush. All right. You can use any brushes whatsoever. Those are the ones that I use. Aw, thank you so much, Mel. Okay, let's get started. So on the top here, you can see blue and white. And we're going to go ahead and start with that. So what I do is I put some blue on my foam brush, and then I also put white in as we go. So that blends them, but doesn't give, you don't want just like one solid color. And you're going to probably use more blue, more white than blue. So go ahead, and we want to get that down to about here, doing that. Aw, thank you, Painter Angel 23. So sweet. And Ida says she'll do it with her daughter via Zoom tonight. That's awesome. And just so you guys know, I'm just at home and in my, what would be my dining room area if I had one. I don't. I just have painting areas everywhere. But anyways, there are cats running around and stuff. So if you hear odd noises, it's probably the kitten or the cat. So like I said, I like doing it this way as opposed to like pre-mixing the colors on my plate, because you get different shades of blue and white when you do it like this, as opposed to just getting one color of light blue. And make it as streaky or as not as you want. Hi, Carmela. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is a bit of a loose canvas. I should have tightened it up beforehand. But I was running a little late today. Okay, that's pretty good. And if anything, I would go down a little further than you think you need to go, because we can always overlap it. It's better to have a little too much in this case. So I'm going to go down just a tiny bit more. All right, that's good for that. Resin Chick asks, how do you tighten a canvas? It's very simple. All you do is put some water on the back. You can either take a spray bottle and just spritz it, or you could even just put it under the faucet and put some water around on the back, and it will tighten it up immediately. It is some magical scientific trick that I don't even know how it works, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's good trick to learn. Okay, so if you're painting along, please let me know in the comments if you're at this stage or if you need a little more time on your sky. So you can either say I'm there or more time. Oh, and also if you want, feel free to continue your painting around the sides, or you can just paint the sides all a solid color at the end. That's your options. Okay, good. Hey, Tiffany. Welcome, welcome. Okay, good. I guess I'm just going to go ahead and paint these sides. Might as well, since I have a second. Okay. Thank you so much, Becky. Yeah, that reminds me, guys, if you do enjoy this tutorial, if you're watching it live, you could either super chat or super sticker donate. Or also in the description, there's a link to donate via PayPal. So if you're watching it live or later, donations are much appreciated. It's basically my tip jar. Okay. We're going to go on to this bottom part here. So we're going to start with basically a gray. I'm not going to change anything on my brush. I'm going to just keep going down, except I'm going to add just a smidge of black. So you probably still have some blue on your brush, and that's totally okay. And I do mean just a smidge of black. You don't need a lot. More white than black, definitely. And this is where you'll kind of define where your line's going to be. So I'll put it basically the same place this one is. And we're going to work more on the water later. We're just kind of getting it in place for now. And just as a warning, it has been, I think, about 2 years since I've taught this painting. So I'm hoping that I remember the correct sequence and everything for everything. Okay. So if you don't get full coverage on this bottom part, that's okay, because like I said, we're going to come back to it. This is more just to kind of set it out. Aw, thank you so much, Latrice. And thank you, Healing Frequency 777 and Moosey's Madness. I appreciate all of you. All right, who is ready for clouds? The clouds are kind of the important part of this painting. And it can be a little daunting, I know, but it doesn't have to be. Clouds can be fun. You are going to get a little bit of an arm workout. So you can't hit the gym, but we can still exercise while we paint. Ready, okay? I got one ready. Veronica, you ready? Okay, we're going to give it a go. So I'm going to just tell you a couple things about clouds first, because a lot of people, what they end up doing is they go in a circle and they basically create a bunny's tail, which if you look at clouds, that's really not realistic. Clouds are not fluffy circles in the sky as much as they are in our minds. So I'm going to just using my foam brush again, and it should have probably a little tiny bit of black and some white. If you need to wipe it off, go ahead and do so. I wouldn't wash it, but so just a little bit of white on there. And then we're going to pat, and basically we're going to go in a linear fashion. So we're going to go kind of more like a line, and you do not need a lot of paint. Just put a tiny bit of paint and then stretch it out. So once we've got kind of a fluffy line down here, we're going to bring it up a bit and add a little life to it. See that? Easy cloud. I don't know if you guys can see it too well. Make sure also that your settings are on, because if you go to your settings, you can go to the playback speed or the quality. It automatically sets it to 480, I think. But if you put it up to 720, that'll be a little bit better. Let me bring this in real quick for a close-up. So there we have one cloud. Okay. So we're going to do a series of those with white. And you'll see probably they'll get a little more white as I go, because the other colors will kind of eventually get out of my brush. So kind of linear, and then bring up the top of it, not the bottom, just the top. And put as many of these as you want. I'm going to put one up here. And this can be kind of the difficult part, but once you get it, it's like, oh my gosh, clouds are so easy. So keys are to really spread out your paint. You don't need a lot of paint. And then to go in kind of more of the linear fashion, okay? All right, Sherry's Life says she's not painting, but learning. So does Miss Ali. That's awesome. No worries. And Moosey's said, sorry, not able to donate at this time. That's totally fine. I understand. And I'm going to put one more white down here. For now, you can always come back and add more. I'll just put a littler one down here. And don't worry too much about your horizon line. You can go across it if you need to. We're going to come back to that as well. So, all right, now I'm going to get in here with some yellow. So same thing on my brush. And I'm going to go ahead and do pretty much the same thing, but with yellow. And I'm going to overlap some of those clouds. So see how I'm now overlapping the white, but I'm adding in some yellow over here because we're having a nice bright sunset. If you hear the rustling in the background, that's my cat. That's Rusty, causing trouble. Down here, I'm going to put some yellow, but I'm actually going to add a little white in here as well, because this is where my sun's going to go later. And keep in mind where your your lighthouse is going to go. So don't put your best clouds right here. Just kidding. It's not going to really matter. Yeah, the kitty wants to help. Okay, more yellow. So this is the part, it does take a while because we're going to basically continue this until we've covered kind of a large portion of the sky. But you can do as much or as little as you want. If you want it to be not so sunsetty, then do just a little bit less. And then just one more key is to blending and having not just a bunch of different colors of patches on your sky, is to work quickly so that you're doing it while the paint is still wet. And so now I'm kind of going back and forth with my white and yellow as well, which gives me different shades of yellow. And then whenever you feel like it, get in there with some orange and do the same thing. Feel free to add white as you go. The white will lighten up your clouds and will help you blend. I'm going to try to get this part done kind of quickly, and then I'll take a little break and answer any questions. So I'm not really looking at the chat for right this second. Scooch that over a tiny bit. So if you kind of notice, I'm doing it a lot while it's wet, and so the colors are blending very nicely. And feel free to go back to yellow. You mix the yellow and your orange, and that will give you a nice peachy color. That's nice. Very nice. Add some happy little clouds all over your sky. Okay, let me know down in the comments, guys, how is everybody doing on their clouds? It's a little hard because I can't see you guys through the phone. Okay, I'm definitely going to get in here with more yellow. And I did warn you, it's an arm workout. I see no comments in the chat box. How are you guys doing with your clouds? It can take a little practice, and I have had a lot of practice. So I do have a slight advantage possibly. I think if you just kind of relax and go for it, you should be able to get something pretty darn nice. Sierra, you want to come show everybody the kitty? Okay. I think that's pretty good, actually. I'm going to leave a little bit of blue showing through. Yes, Bob Ross is, so Resin Chick asked, who are some of your artist influencers who you watched and learned from in the past? Bob Ross, absolutely. And then honestly, my key mixed media influence is a girl named Clara Berta. She's a Los Angeles artist, and she is amazing. You guys should check her out. I don't think she has a YouTube, but if you go to her website, like claraberta.com, one of her paintings was in one of the Super Bowl commercials recently, and she's just really cool. I pretty much learned a lot. I learned a lot of what I know about mixed media from her. And then Bob Ross, yes, definitely paintings like this, although he's better. Okay, last thing I'm going to do on my clouds, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my brush down for a second, is I'm going to add some darker ones, because mine's like a stormy cloud day. But you don't have to. You can leave the black out. If you do use it, just go really light on it. A little bit goes a long way, okay? So I'm just adding in just a little bit. This is totally optional. I personally love contrast, but I know not everybody does. Some people hate it. So That's why I add in the black. See, maybe the storm is coming in from this side. I'll get in there with a little yellow. Okay. I am now going to walk away. Put the brush down. Hey Tara, welcome, welcome. Yeah, this one definitely put more black in this one. So I'm going a little lighter on this one. All right, for those painting along, please let me know in the comments where you're at on the clouds. I did mine kind of fast, so definitely you should have some more time. Charming Draft says, yeah, mine doesn't look anything like that. Well, that's okay. It shouldn't look like mine. It should look like yours because it's your painting, not mine. Plus, the lighthouse really just brings it all together anyways. Just the background. All right, all right. So for those painting along, please let me know in the comments how you're doing. Yours, Prophetess says, mine's funky, but I like funky. Perfect. That's perfect. Okay. Any objections to going on to the water? Anybody? Going once, going twice. Latrice asks, what is your inspiration for this piece? It was a picture a friend sent me from the beach. And I was like, that would make a really cool paint night. So I did my best rendition of it in an afternoon. And basically, I consider if I can paint something in about 30 minutes, I can teach it in about 2 hours. That's kind of how I judge it. Okay, going on to the water. So still with my foam brush, and this is dark waters, I'm going to take my black and I'm going to just make a little more defined line right here. Because right now it's a little too blended. And then I'm going to start just adding in some different colors into the water. So the key with this is to go light and also not use a lot of paint. So right now I just have a tiny bit of black that I put on my brush, and see how I'm stretching it out. And that way it's not giving me like a super solid black water, right? And as we go, same thing, add in a little white as well because we want some gray. Add in a little more black. And then we're also going to add in just a little bit of the yellow and orange. Well, really as much as you want of those. If you want to do more orange than black, go for it. So same thing, kind of just lightly add it in. I start from the sides and go in towards the middle and kind of trail off. Can you guys kind of see how that, it kind of just blends it in? So it's not a harsh line. It just kind of trails off. Hey, DL Tyler. Do a little bit on this side. This gives the appearance of having the different lights, light and dark, both in there. Get in here with a little more black. Once again, just really just use a tiny bit and stretch it out. We're not going for a solid covering of any color. And keep in mind, you're going to have this ground down here. So you don't have to go completely all the way to the bottom unless you want to. I think I'm going to make this one a bit lighter than that one is. That one's pretty dark, so go a bit lighter with this one. I'm going to get in with some yellow. And adding a little more white in. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. You could definitely overwork the water, so try not to as I continue going. Well, sometimes you take a step back and you kind of notice a part that maybe you don't quite like. So I just didn't like this part. Okay, I think that's good. All right, so how's everyone doing on their water? Let me know down in the comments. I feel like I may have lost some people. Also, don't forget to thumbs up. And just a reminder, if you want a super chat, that would be awesome, or a super sticker. Okay, good. So Charming Drab is still working on it. Jay, haven't heard from you in a minute. How are you doing? And Prophetess, let me know. Give y'all a minute. So Latrice said that center of the water looks almost as a moon reflection. Yeah. Yep, yep. Luna says, I did not know how to do water like that. Thank you. Sure, no problem. Actually, now that you said that, Latrice, I think I'm going to actually lighten up this side a little bit because my sun is going to be over here. So I'm going to add a little bit of lighting here where the sun's going to go. Maybe throw a little yellow in over here. Okay, I think that's good. Give that side a little more lighting. And this side will be a little bit darker. Maybe even add a tiny bit more black on this side. Oh no, I need to put my brush down or I will continue working on this until the end of time. That's what happens when I wait and I can't see you guys. Okay, brush down, brush down. Yeah, I can keep going until like the end of time. Okay, good. All right, the next step is rather easy. We're going to do the ground down here, which is just black. So, of course, oh my gosh, Marcy. Of course, make sure you're totally happy with your water. I saw one spot I wanted to fix. Okay, good. And then with black, we're gonna go below the center here and just on the right side, you're gonna start, let's say about 3 inches from the bottom, but you can always start lower and make it go higher. And we're just gonna do a little kind of a hill going all the way across. I have it be a little higher on the right and a little lower on the left, and you're just gonna go kind of jaggedy. You don't want anything straight. You don't want anything like a hill. Yeah, these sponge brushes are amazing. And they are reusable for like till the end of time. Well, until you let kids use them. Or sometimes drunk adults. And then, well, whatever. You get like a pack of like 72 of these at Michael's for like $5 or something. So they last for forever, you guys. Definitely highly, highly recommend. We're just going to fill this all in with black. Okay, a little spot there I wanted to cover. Okay. I think that's pretty good. Yes. Nice and good of yours. Yes. Thank you. All right. DL Tyler says she's partway done redoing her peacock. That's awesome. Yeah, the good thing is that you can redo these paintings as many times as you want too. If you do the live one and you're not happy with it, you can go back and do it again and again. Okay. So we're going to move on to our next part, which is the lighthouse. I think. Yeah, the lighthouse. So we're going to stick with our foam brush. Now, you're at home. You can totally cheat and use a ruler if you want. Nobody's going to judge. Nobody's going to see you. So I put mine off center. You can center yours if you want, and you can also go to the other side if you want. But I'm going to put mine a little bit to the right, leaving, let's say, maybe about 5 inches from the right side. Start small. Start with a skinny, short thing. Okay, that's not exactly short, but you get my point. Start small because you can make it bigger. You can't make it smaller. If you end up with a massive lighthouse, you're not going to be able to shrink it. Yes, baby? You need me to open it?
Mm.
Did you shake it?
No.
Okay.
But just try to open it carefully. Just in case anything explodes.
Okay, here you go.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, this is Sonali 1951. Welcome. All right. See, I'm kind of tempted to cheat myself. I'm looking for something to make a straight line with. Maybe I'll just use a piece of mail. Okay. Yeah, so if you want, take something straight. Sierra, can you get the door?
Yeah.
And make a straight line. This line is very not straight. So you can do that if you want. All right, so I'm going to widen this up. Oh, my dad is here. Hey, Dad.
New person is here. Grandpa's here. Grandpa, come see the kitten.
Dad, come say hi.
Yeah, come say hi.
I'm on a live video.
Say hi to
Veronica's
the kitten.
here.
Pet the kitten.
That's a nice hat. Stick your face in there if you want. We're doing a live paint night.
You are.
Yeah. All right, so that's my dad, everybody.
And this is me without the
The mask.
mask.
All right, now bugger off. I love you. So I'm just slowly making this a little bit bigger until you're pretty happy with it. This is the main part. And it's not the top
You don't know
yet,
me, do you?
okay?
She will bite.
Okay,
Bite
I'm
her.
gonna make mine just a little bit wider.
She's tender and
Don't
juicy.
worry, she bites everybody.
Quiet on set. Okay, making it a little bit wider. Oh my goodness. I think that's pretty good. What do you guys think? Wide enough? Yeah, looks good to me. Okay. So for the top of the lighthouse, I'm going to go ahead and go over to my medium flat brush. And we're going to make a rectangle here, a thin one that goes over both sides. Okay. And then on top of that, we're going to make a smaller rectangle that's skinnier. Well, shorter but fatter. There we go. Shorter but fatter. It's going to look like a top hat at this stage. This is the top hat stage. Good. On top of that, I'm going to put another skinny rectangle that sticks out of the sides just a little bit. We're not going for perfect, but just do as good as you can, okay? And on top of that, just a little rectangle or square. I guess it's more of a square. There. So that's the body of our lighthouse. We need to let that dry, of course, before we put the lights in. And what I'm going to do down here real quick is also I'm going to go back to my ground and I'm going to go over that because the ground goes in front of the lighthouse. Okay. Good. Now I'm going to take a second to step back. And please let me know if you're following along down in the comments where you're at. If you are at this stage or if you need a little more time with your lighthouse. Tara says she wished she had some canvas and paint to follow along. Go get some markers or some crayons. Or some ketchup and mustard. Still on the lighthouse. Okay, good. I'll give you all a minute.
Show them the kitten tooth.
Nope.
Why?
No.
I always just say the kitten lost a tooth today.
But I'll show them the kitten. Come
She's
here.
like,
Come say hi. Come say hi. All right. While we're introducing the family, here's the kitten. Right here. Right here. Say hi. She lost a tooth today. She's growing up. I think that's going to become part of our live show is the kitten. I would show you guys Rusty, but he's really too hard to pick up.
Oh, I pick him up sometimes.
Yeah. Miss Ali says, cardboard boxes painted white make great canvases. I totally agree. You are correct. Okay. Veronica, are you ready to move along? Or are you still on your lighthouse? Luna Nightblade asked, how many times do I live stream? So I live stream every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, no fail. And then these adult paint nights or family paint nights I've been doing once or twice a week. It's not an exact time. Last week I did Tuesday and Thursday. This week I decided to just do Friday. But if you follow me on my Facebook page, I create an event ahead of time. And that way also you can know what colors to bring and stuff. So definitely make sure that you are following me on there. All right, we're going to go on to the next step. So we're going to add in a little tree over here. This one's a little sloppy. I'm not too happy with that, but let's see if we can make this one better. And this is optional. You could leave the tree out if you want, but I kind of like it. Adds a little more interest to the painting. So I'm going to wash off my medium flat brush, although I'll mostly be using the thin brush for this. Actually, I didn't need to wash that because I'm using black again. Whoops. Okay. So, let's see. Going pretty much right in the middle here between the lighthouse and the side. I'm going to go ahead and just add in a little tree that kind of is leaning to the left and towards the lighthouse. So starting with the trunk here. And then just add in some branches. A lot of this is going to be covered up by the leaves, so don't stress too much about this. The info is also on my YouTube. If you go to the community tab, you can see all the info there as well. But there's no way to create an event on YouTube. So I definitely put it both places, but that's the best I can do. All right, using my little detail brush, I'm going to add some smaller branches. Once again, don't stress too much about them because it's going to be largely covered up, but try to start skinnier or start fatter and go a little bit skinnier as you go up. And you don't really need a lot of like little branches on this because this is kind of, I guess, far away, you could say. Let's do a little more over here. Oh yeah, also guys, I think most of you probably have by now, but if you haven't, please check out my husband's channel. That's Johnny Farrow. He just put out a hilarious quarantine video. Also, my daughter has a channel, Starline Arts. Veronica, if you have a chance to grab that link for either of those, that would be great. If not, I know you're painting, but okay. So I think that's a bit about it on the branches there. Veronica says her little tree is the best part. So I'm going to rinse off my brush. And for those of you who were on the last paint night, I explained what stippling is. Hey, Clara. But I'm going to do that again. So with my medium flat brush and some orange, I'm going to kind of shove my brush down onto my plate. Normally you would never do this with brushes because it's really bad for them. And there are actually brushes that are stippling brushes. But if you take a look, I'm going to try to show you close up. Come on, focus. You can see, well, maybe you can, but they're kind of spread out. Okay. So I'm going to use that and just lightly go around my branches here and kind of fill in some leaves, really as much or as little as you want. And it can go over your lighthouse if you want. Your black is still probably wet. That is okay. So just kind of lightly dabbing. I think on this tree I overdid it a little bit, so I'm not going to do that. Also, I think on this I'm going to add a little bit of yellow too. Why not? Because the sun's over here, and that makes it a little more exciting. So I'm going to add a little yellow. I think this painting's going to be way better than that one. Feel free to also, if you want, add a little bit of white. Why not? Okay, I think that's pretty good. So on this first one, I just did orange. On this one, I started with orange and then I also added a little yellow and just a smidge of white. So I'll show you guys a little more close up. I think that one's way better than the other one, personally. But definitely have fun with it. It's not the main part of the painting. Okay. Good. Now also I added some on the ground here, which not also super happy with that. Let's see if I can get it to come out a little bit better. Same thing, I'm kind of just stippling along this edge here. And this is also to give it a little more interest and kind of divide. I'm kind of creating two hills here. So I'm going to actually go down here. And I'll do this first with a little bit of orange. And then I'm going to add in also a little bit of white. I'm just doing the stippling. Okay. I think that's pretty good. She says as she continues. Do as much or as little of that as you want. It's totally up to you. I think that's pretty good for that. We have one more part on our background, and then we're going to work on the lighthouse, which is just adding the sun. That's the last part on the background. So those of you painting along, please let me know in the comments where you're at. If you're still painting along with me. Hopefully you're not lost. We're almost done. A couple more steps. Hey, baby. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add the sun here. You can really do any color. You can do white, orange, yellow, red. I'm going to go ahead. I still have orange on my brush, and then I'm going to do yellow. And this can be as big or as little as you want. Don't spend too much time on it, but attempt to get a circle. I kind of like that, actually. Mine's like swirly. I think I'm going to leave it swirly. I like that. And it's roundish. Roundish. Awesome. Okay. Good, good. So we have a little lighting to add on there, the lighthouse. Mine is, I can tell it's still a little bit wet. I think doing this part will be fine though. And that's just because the sun is shining on this side of it. So I'm going to add just a little bit over here of orange. Actually, I'm just going to use what I already have on my brush. And I'm just going to kind of streak this. Not doing anything crazy, heavy duty. Just kind of streaking it over here a little bit. I think that's good. All right. One more step on the lighthouse. So Veronica and Prophetess, how are you doing? Are you about there? This last step is pretty easy. You're on the sun. Okay, good. About there. All right, I'll give you another minute, which is good because this still needs to dry. It's been super cold recently, which is causing my paintings to take like forever to dry. So I totally just realized I kind of made a bit of a rookie mistake on my sky. Not thinking with putting the sun in here, and I put more black over here. That's okay. I can add more black over here later. Or what, lighten this up. Whoopsies. It happens. Sometimes I'm not thinking quite ahead. All right, I'm going to show you guys just the last step on the lighthouse. And then, yeah, that's about it. We're going to wrap up. So with my little detail brush, I'm going to go ahead in this part, this square, and I'm going to make 3 squares. So I'd start in the middle and make 1 square with yellow, and then leaving some space, go next to it and do another yellow square. These are obviously the lights. And then go next to it on the other side and do another yellow square. You may end up with more than 3 squares. That is okay. And you may end up with 1 square that kind of goes partly off. That's also okay. Because remember, Lighthouse is round. It's not flat. So yours could just be curved. It's totally fine. All right, and then we fill that in with yellow. I'm a little worried because my black is still wet in some spots, but I'm going to do the best. Also, if you mess up your squares, good news is you can go back and fix it with black if needed. So like if your squares get too big or if they get a little wonky. Okay. With my black still being wet, that's as good as that's going to get. I will probably have to come back later and add a little more yellow over that. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and sign this. I sign mine in the lower left-hand corner or lower right-hand corner with just a contrasting color. So in this case, I have black down there, so I'll use white. But you could use anything. Make sure you touch up the sides if desired. And that is it. You should have a semi-decent looking lighthouse. And I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. For those of you following along, feel free to finish at your own pace or come back to it. And for anyone following along later, I hope you enjoy this. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. And I think for the next one, I'm going to take a vote. I have a couple fun options here. So option number 1, so if you're watching this now or later, put it in the comments, 1 or 2, okay? Option number 1 is a fun safari, abstract safari theme with some fun giraffes, okay? Option number 2 is probably slightly more advanced. And this is the Blue Lake. I totally love this one. You can definitely tell it's inspired by Bob Ross. So this is a little more advanced than the other one. So this is option number 2, okay? Let me know in the comments. The giraffe, yeah, the safari one is very easy. It was one of my first paint nights, actually, I think that I ever taught. One of my students came up with that one. So, but the other one has giraffes. Well, we'll see in the end. Please say 1 or 2, and that will help me. And also, don't forget to super chat or PayPal donate if you can. That really helps me because obviously I'm using a lot of supplies doing these extra paint nights. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you all next time. Bye.